This is News 25 with Deanna O'Donnell and Missy Kohler. News 25, local news you can count on. News is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Call 727-9900 today for your free consultation. If you need a lawyer, you need Nelson. News 25 is also brought to you by Silver State Health, Pahrumps exclusive pediatric care clinic. Call 775-505-1214 for an appointment.
Welcome to News 25. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
I'm Missy Kohler. Happy Wednesday, March 24th.
Well, attorneys appeared in court this week to prepare for an upcoming retrial of suspect Jason Gow.
On January 14, 2019, Jason Gow was sentenced to 37 years to life in prison by Judge Robert Lane. Gow had been taken into custody in 2013 and was charged with incest, use of a minor in producing pornography, lewdness with a child under 14, child abuse, and statutory sexual seduction. Gow is married now to his alleged victim, who is also the sister of his ex-girlfriend. Gow appealed his conviction to the Nevada Supreme Court. He and his attorney at the time, Jonathan Nelson, argued that during the original trial, the district court abused its discretion in several ways, including restricting cross-examination of the state's primary witness regarding potential bias. At the trial, Gow tried to question then-Detective David Berukowitz about the county settlement of a lawsuit Gow had brought against the county. In testimony, Sheriff Sharon Worley said Berukowitz was involved in the wrongdoing leading to the settlement. Worley testified Gow's lawsuit did not bias the investigation, but Gow disagreed and recounted that the civil lawsuit involved mishandling of evidence, that the lawsuit went on to inherit bias by law enforcement, and that it would be helpful for the jury to hear. Despite those arguments, the district court restricted Gow's questioning of now Lieutenant Berukowitz, finding that Gow's inquiry was not relevant, would confuse the jury, and if allowed, would be more prejudicial than probative. In his appeal, Gow also argued that the district court abused its discretion by admitting improperly authenticated text messages and by admitting improperly noticed emails. Gow told the court that because these errors were not harmless, reversal was warranted. The reversal of conviction was granted on June 30, 2020. At the time of the reversal, District Attorney Chris Arabia said that he fully intends to retry this case, and the District Attorney's Office has all the evidence in order to successfully prosecute Gow. Gow was back in Judge Lane's courtroom on March 22nd for a motion to address the scope of impeachment evidence. His defense is arguing for the chance to cross-examine witnesses in relation to the county lawsuit that Gow had settled. The defense said that they should be able to question anyone that might show the bias because of the lawsuit. The state asked that the scope of questioning be limited to the topic of the lawsuit and that it was settled. Judge Lane reserved ruling until closer to the trial. The trial is now scheduled for June 22nd through July 1st. Gow is currently represented by Daniel Martinez of the Public Defender's Office, but Martinez will be leaving the Nye County Public Defender's Office on April 20th. The attorneys discuss possible negotiations in the case based on the decision the judge will make regarding the lawsuit cross-examination. Judge Lane said that he still feels the evidence that will be presented to the jury will outweigh what is presented about the lawsuit because he feels that the state has a strong case. Based on that, he encouraged the defense and the state to set up a settlement conference. Judge Lane will also appoint a new public defender to the case to represent Gow. Right now, there is a status check set for April 19th.
And we'll be back with more News 25 just after the break.
You're watching News 25, the most recognized and farthest-reaching local news in Nye County. News 25, local news you can count on.
Welcome back. Fed Chair Jerome Powell calls the economic recovery effort far from complete. Pfizer is working on an oral drug to fight coronavirus, and President Biden wants Congress to take action on gun control.
Topping our news on Capitol Hill, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen and Fed Chair Jerome Powell tell lawmakers in order to get a full economic recovery, more needs to be done to limit the damage caused by coronavirus. Powell calls the recovery far from complete. Pfizer is starting early-stage clinical trials of an antiviral drug that can be taken orally against COVID-19. That drug is being tested in the U.S. President Biden is calling on Congress to take action on gun control. It follows the March 16th shooting rampage at a Boulder, Colorado supermarket that killed 10 people. Gun stocks traded mostly lower on Tuesday. The CEO of Google sent an email to employees offering a time to process following the Atlanta shootings that killed 6 Asian women. CNBC reports nearly half of Google's full-time workforce identify as Asian.
And today, Nevada governor ordered all flags to be lowered at half-staff for those Boulder, Colorado victims. Well, Nevada prison inmate who walked away from a Stewart conservation camp in Carson City Sunday is now under arrest in California on suspicion of homicide.
34-year-old Jonathan Cullen Autry is under arrest in Sacramento County, suspected of killing a man inside his home in the city of Antelope. That's just northeast of Sacramento. The Sacramento County Sheriff's Office received a call Tuesday asking officers to check on the welfare of a man living in an apartment in the 7700 block of Watt Avenue. Deputies initially were unable to get an answer at the door, but they eventually made contact with someone who they determined did not live at that address. That person was later identified as Autry. When deputies attempted to detain him, they say Autry became physically resistive and fought. Once he was detained, deputies discovered the adult male homeowner deceased inside the apartment. Autry was placed under arrest on suspicion of homicide. Autry was serving 24 to 60 months in Nevada for 2 counts of obtaining money under false pretenses, fraudulent use of a credit card, and making counterfeit money. Authorities alerted the public after he walked away from the Stewart Conservation Camp in Carson City on Sunday. Detectives are asking anyone with information related to this incident to call the Sacramento Valley Crime Stoppers at 916-443-HELP or contact the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office.
A Pahrump woman well known for her love of birds is asking for the community's help in locating one of her macaws. Heidi Fleiss keeps dozens of birds at her home in North Pahrump. She says Miller, a green and yellow macaw, went missing on Sunday. Now she's offering a $10,000 reward for information leading to the bird's return.
I'm really distressed. My bird Miller, which is a macaw, they're the large parrots, and he is the color of the roof here, green and yellow, so he blends into the background. But there's a possibility, he's missing, and there's a possibility that a disgruntled employee could be associated with his disappearance on Sunday. What I think happened is a disgruntled employee sent somebody over to snatch him, and someone came in with a bag and threw a bag over him and took him. That's what I think happened. I could be wrong, because obviously when you love something, your mind goes all over the place. But I've been combing the desert. It was very windy Sunday night. I followed the wind direction. I've been looking for him. I've had other people looking for him. I'm perplexed. Sunday, right before dusk, I noticed he was gone. $10,000 reward to anybody with information to his whereabouts and to his return. I have several macaws. Some of them are older and have to be isolated because Georgie has cataracts, and they're scheduled to be removed in the next week. So I was in the back room with Georgie checking on him. I thought I heard a human voice for a minute. So hold on a second, finished feeding Georgie, and I came back out. There was nothing, and I was a little bit perplexed, thought maybe I didn't get enough sleep. Maybe it was another bird. I don't know. So I went to my front room, and I looked out the window, and I saw Macho, which is Miller's mate, solo outside the window, which immediately told me there's a problem. Most of my birds do have a band on them, so they can be tracked wherever they go. But Miller did not, because he's not a flyer and he loves his home so much. But there's a $10,000 reward, because money's supposed to make you happy, right? This bird makes me happy. I want my bird. I'm extremely distressed. I've had him 15 years, in a special bond with him. I love him dearly, like a boyfriend almost, more. Yeah. And all you dog lovers that love your dogs, just see it as that. It's the same thing. Miller looks exactly like Macho, except Miller's missing 2 toes. I'm sorry, Macho. I'm trying, baby. I hope someone has him and can return him for a reward.
If you have information as to the whereabouts of Miller, you can contact Heidi by email at hbirdkeeper@gmail.com. You can also call us here at KPVM TV, and we'll relay any information to her. And we'll be right back with more News 25. Stay with us.
You're watching News 25, brought to you by Mountain West Lawyer, Injury Attorneys. 727-9500. News 25, local news you can count on. News is brought to you by Canyon Ridge Periodontics. Give them a call at 702-966-0302.
Well, the Nye County COVID Relief Fund has been accepting applications since March 17th while they are still finalizing the policy. If your business has been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, relief funds are still available.
Even though applications are now being accepted for the relief fund, minor tweaks were being made to the policy at the last Board of County Commissioners meeting. The board approved changes to include the costs of advertising the relief fund's availability. They also approved that those that had received funding under the prior Nye County CARES Act Working Capital Program will need to complete and close out that grant before they are approved under the new program. Not all businesses have submitted their backup showing what the grant funds were spent on. Also approved was the addition of allowing applications by sub-entities. These could include the hospital and even vaccination pods run by the Department of Emergency Management. There was public comment that pushed back on this idea. Commissioner Leo Blundo abstained from the board's discussion on the topic, disclosing that he had received funds from the CARES Act for his business, but he did participate as a private citizen giving public comment. He said that the money is for the people and should not be given back to the government. The commissioners allocated funds to each of the programs to include the Small Business Grant Program, Small Business Owner, Public Assistance administered by nonprofit, not-for-profit, or charity grants, and Direct Utility Assistance. $1.9 million is the total amount that was allocated to the various funds. The money for the program is what is remaining from the Nye County CARES Act program for the purpose of continuing financial assistance to the public. Sub-entities will be able to begin applying for the funding on March 24th. If you would like to see the policy for the Nye County COVID Relief Fund and find out how you can apply for assistance, visit nyecounty.net.
It was a big weekend at Nature Health Farms in Pahrump, and a lot of people came out to enjoy all the fun.
Nature Health Farms opened its doors this past weekend, giving local families an opportunity to enjoy everything the farm has to offer. This latest open house was a celebration of Tatiana Mayerov's birthday. The farm is home to a number of animals, most of which are roaming freely, so kids and adults can interact with them up close and personal. In addition to the animals, a number of acts entertained guests, including Las Vegas comedian Mike Hammer, the Pahrump Gunfighters, a mime, DJs, live bands, and Grace Good performing acrobatics and stunts with fire. And there were activities just for kids too, including face painting and balloon animals. Alex DeJean tells News 25 he has a vision for Nature Health Farms and hopes to offer an experience similar to the former Bonnie Springs Ranch outside Las Vegas. DeJean says they're working to expand the farm to include a museum and hemp farm. To keep up on what's happening at Nature Health Farms, you can visit them on Facebook at Nature Health Farms. Of course, we'll also keep you in the loop.
Thanks so much to Brad Francis for that report. Well, the pandemic has changed the way many of us schedule doctor's appointments. Instead of going to your physician's office for an exam, you can now meet them virtually from the comfort of your own home.
For patients, especially those coming from a distance, those who have mobility issues, and those that have family members they want to include in their visits, it can be very, very convenient. And on the provider end of things, it allows us to really connect with patients in a very unique way.
Dr. Stephen Shook is a neurologist for the Cleveland Clinic. He says virtual visits have grown in popularity over the last year and are quickly becoming common practice. So how do you know when to book a virtual visit instead of seeing your doctor in person? He says it really depends on the type of care you're receiving. Virtual visits are perfect for common symptoms like back pain, sore throat, cough, rash, or a mild fever. They can also be good for counseling, chronic disease management, and getting a second opinion from most specialists. However, if you need something like an eye exam, that would be better in person, and you should always go in for urgent medical needs.
The one visit that is absolutely not appropriate for virtual health is emergency care. So if a patient's having chest pain, stroke-like symptoms, prolonged fever, any one of those emergency type symptoms, you need to call 911 or take your family member to the emergency room immediately.
Dr. Shook has a couple of tips to keep in mind for your next virtual visit. He says it's important you're in a quiet and well-lit area. You should also have enough space to move around if needed.
News 25 Weather Cam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
It was a pretty day today. I think that wind is supposed to be dying down fairly soon. I hope so. Fingers crossed. And temperatures are supposed to be warming up. We'll find out in just a minute with John. He'll have our full weather forecast.
News 25 Weather is brought to you by Dairy Council of Nevada. The splash of cream in your coffee, the dollop of sour cream on your burrito, the melted toasty cheese on your pizza. Undeniably delicious, undeniably dairy. Enjoy what's real.
Hi, good evening, Nevada. It's John Kohler from the KPVM Channel 25 Weather Studios. Spent all day working on my hair, went outside, and whew, this is what happens. I don't know if it really helped spending all day on my hair. Let's think about the weather instead. Look at Fernley, Fallon, and Carson City. Wow, you guys are looking great up there. 56, mid-50s for highs today. Tonopah, Goldfield, you're a little bit chillier. You're our cool spot at 48 and 51 for high today. Beatty, Amargosa, Las Vegas heating up as we head on down the map. Las Vegas saw as much as 69 degrees today. Not too bad. Out in Death Valley, 78 degrees with a 52-degree low tonight. And here in the Paradise of Pahrump, where the air is a little bit chock full of pollen if you've got sensitivities that way. The elm tree is not your friend this time of year, but it'll come and go with the wind. But it's a little bit polleny today. As those winds blow around at 18 miles per hour, giving us a high today of 66 degrees. Felt pretty good as the sun rose this morning at 6:41 a.m. And it'll set this evening just shy of 7. And it'll be 6:59 p.m. Good time to go catch a sunset, and those winds will calm down just a little bit. Southeasterly to 14 miles per hour this evening. 20% humidity is going to give us some cloud cover as we head on into the week. And yeah, it'll be a little bit cloudy the next couple of days. Those winds are still going to be working on us at 14, 13 miles an hour. But look at that. Clear skies Saturday and Sunday, and those temperatures shooting all the way up to almost 80 degrees by Monday. How about that? And then the winds return. So, all good things must come to an end. But I think it's going to be a beautiful weekend. I'm looking forward to it. And I hope you are too. Happy Wednesday to you. Let's go back to the desk. It's Missy Indiana.
Weather forecast, that's looking pretty good. So tomorrow is the deadline day for applying for a job at the pool here in Pahrump. You just have to be 15 years or older by April 1st, and you can apply for this job. So go turn your application in. Your ability to obtain lifeguard certification and CPR, they'll teach you all of that. The ability to pass a drug and alcohol screen, you can do that too. It's easy. You can apply at www.nyecounty.net or by emailing human_resources@co.nye.nv.us. Request an application. You can do it all online, so fill that out tonight and get that turned in. The application deadline is tomorrow.
And so, of course, we want as many people to apply for that job because our pool won't open.
Yes,
we don't get enough people.
Miss the pool again this summer. Don't do that.
I know, so I'm going to be down there tomorrow. We also want to let everybody know that there is vaccine appointments still available for tomorrow. All you have to do is to go on nyecounty.net and click on the vaccine link, and you can schedule your own appointment for your first dose or even second dose. Usually the second dose appointments are made right when you get the first dose here, and it's on Siri Lane. They are saying that you have to be 16 and older with an underlying health condition, but we have heard that they are taking everybody now, and so make that appointment. And also, you know, the weird thing is that with some of those criteria, I realized there's so many more people that meet all that criteria for the jobs, like, you know, grocery store workers, fast food workers. My son does deliveries, and I realized that he even qualifies for that because it's almost pretty much everybody. So go on to nyecounty.net, click on the vaccine link, make your own appointment. They have openings tomorrow, right now, on that link for you to get your vaccinations right here on Siri Lane, right here in Pahrump. For more information, of course, you can give Nye County Administration a phone call or the vaccine number as well, 751-6313, and get your vaccine.
That's going to do it for us tonight. Thanks for watching. I'm Missy Kohler.
I'm Deanna O'Donnell. Good night.